It's my pleasure to be joined up here by A.J. Allmendinger, the Coors Light Pole Award winner for the 27th annual Toyota Save Mart 350. Recorded a lap of 74.385 seconds, which equates to 96.310 miles per hour. AJ drives the number 47 Kingsford Charcoal Chevrolet for JTG Doherty Racing. And outside of that Pollo Local, which I'm sure you put in the system last night, what led to that busting off that fast lap today?
Honestly, just hard preparation from all my guys. What they've done to get this car ready back at the shop, and just the stuff that they did here at the racetrack to get it ready for practice yesterday, and then to go into qualifying today. They've just worked so hard, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday. Just the last 6 weeks, kind of the struggles we've had, and the guys really put their heads down and worked hard on this car. And our next few races, our cars are really prepared. So, it was a weird session because we got that red flag early on when I was out there, and kind of had to reset myself. And it was strange because the lap times really didn't seem that fast. The first wave of cars that went out there, and then as soon as that red flag came out, it was like cars fired off back out there and put down some big laps. So I knew if I went out there and hit my marks, we should have a good shot at it. And both laps were pretty solid. You can always nitpick and find a little bit more here or there, but I just tried to make sure I hit my marks and got everything I could out of it, and it worked out.
Good deal. We're going to open the floor up to questions. If you can raise your hand, we'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start here at Tom and then go to Bob.
Hi, AJ. How much of an advantage is leading off this race going to be for you, and how many pit stops do you think you're going to be making?
Well, starting up front's always critical, no matter where you're at. Here it's there's a lot of strategy that comes into play. The yellow flags when they fall, when you pit, tires are really important around here. So it's interesting just always how this race plays out. I think that's why we see so many winners in so many years. So, I focused on just so much about our race package yesterday and qualifying today. We haven't really talked about how many pit stops we're going to do yet. That here more than Watkins Glen especially, the strategy changes a lot just because tires are so important. So if you run 10 or 15 laps and a caution comes out, more than likely you're probably going to pit just because tires are that critical. So starting up front is it's important, and hopefully we can go out there and kind of pace the field and get settled in early on, and then kind of see how the race plays out.
Bob Hockers, ESPN, kind of building on that. In general, fuel mileage has been better this year with the less horsepower. So will that translate to here? And if you wanted to do it in 2 pit stops, if tires weren't an issue, would that be the way you would do it?
Yeah, but tires are so critical to run. To run that type of stint to where I think what it plays out to 35 laps a stint if you were to do it in 2 or right around there, maybe 36 or 37. It's tough. Once you get to like lap 25, you're hanging on, and it's just who can conserve their tires better than the other person. Last year I thought we had a really good short to medium run car, probably the fastest car out there, but our long run speed wasn't good enough to win the race. So that's something we tried to come here, and I really tried to focus on yesterday. And you kind of have a general idea, but you don't really know until you get 25 laps in. So we'll see how it plays out. And like I said, you get a yellow flag that falls kind of right in the middle of that. It changes everything anyway. So just hopefully get a clean start and get into a rhythm and try to click off the laps and see how it goes.
And are your migraines okay?
Yeah. It's it's kind of something I deal with here or there. I wasn't the smartest guy in the world. I went karting last week in Wisconsin. I thought that would prepare me for road course racing, and I got beat up by a lot of 16 and 20-year-olds. So my neck, everything's stiff. That's the problem with karting. It's good training, but it doesn't help your body out. So the nurses were great here. I've gotten my neck worked on a little bit. I'll be fine.
Any questions from the press box upstairs?
No questions.
Going?
No.
Going, gone.
Scott Rocks, KSBY Sonoma. AJ, earlier in the Q&A with Jeff Gordon, he asked Steve Page to open the carousel. Would you want to run against him in the carousel?
Sure. I can qualify pole in the carousel too if you need me to. No, it's funny. I ran it one time in a go-kart in like 1996 or something. So obviously Jeff has an advantage. I don't know, is Jeff the only guy that's run the carousel now in this series?
So, yeah.
So he's just trying to cheat. I see it. But it'd be fun. I wouldn't mind running it, and it'd be interesting. But yeah, he'd definitely have an advantage if he's the only guy that's running.
We're going to come up here to the front.
Well, following up on that, Jeff Gordon has said that you're the guy to beat this weekend. You certainly are starting off right with the pole. Do you consider this your local track? And congratulations again to Bay Area driver getting the pole.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely my local track. My dad and I, we came here a lot watching the Sprint Cup Series, and, this was always so close to home. Here in Laguna Seca, my background a lot was being at Laguna Seca racing through the open wheel stuff, but I always enjoyed coming to this race and watching the Sprint Cup Series. So, when I first got to drive on, I hadn't actually ever really driven on it until I ran in this race. So I've always enjoyed it. It's a tough racetrack for sure. I mean, it's definitely a finesse racetrack. You can't attack it. You have to finesse your car. You can't hurt the rear tires. So it takes some time to learn how to get around here and kind of pace yourself. But it's always fun coming back home. It's tough when you got to kind of manage family and friends plus your job. And it's big for us because Kingsford and Clorox, their hometown, is in Oakland. So hopefully it makes them happy and they want to keep giving us money.
Brian Arnold, Fairfield Daily Republic. You mentioned karting back here, and you said 95 or 96. How has the track changed over all those years, and how much have you learned, coming back to this track year after year?
The track actually, just in the 8 or 9 years that I've run here, it hasn't changed a lot. The grip level is low anyway, and it feels like it hasn't really changed much. The cars have changed more than the track has with the cars now compared to when I first started here with the COT cars that were real heavy, real top heavy. The cars rolled a lot. You'd see a lot of kind of the right or left front tires carrying all the way down through the S's, and now it's with the track and the cars, especially with the ride height, not having the rule anymore, and you can lower the car as much as possible. It feels more like a race car. You can kind of sling the car around a little bit, and it doesn't carry the tires as much. So that's more change than the racetrack has.
Any more questions for our Coors Light Pole Award winner, A.J. Allmendinger? Well, A.J., I have one question for you.
Oh, okay.
What are you going to put in that bowl?
Probably a lot of sour candy, honestly. I love sour candy.
Dessert is served at the 47 Holler. Thanks for joining us,
Thank
A.J., and good luck.